Hi everyone and welcome to our first cast of the new WARNO League Season 0. Very big thank you to SD League for organising the entire tournament. Today we are in Division 2 with Graham and Matrin. Graham playing as the 2nd Panzergrenadier Division and Matrin playing as the 4th Matcherino Division. Matrin is in red on the right and Graham over on the left in blue. We are back on 2 legs for today. For everyone who is new to these tournaments, SD League very kindly sponsor these tournaments, and we can all chip in by going to the Matcherino page, which will be linked below in the description. Anyone can go there and click on that link and click a couple of buttons on the side and add a few pennies to the tournament prize pool, and it all adds up, folks. Anyone who comes and clicks, you know, that's an extra 25 cents, what have you, that goes towards the tournament prize. Please, if you can spare the time, it's free. It just takes you a couple of minutes. Let's get into this game. So, both players with forward deployable troops, and a lot coming in for Matrin towards Alpha right now. This is an interesting point to try and take for Matrin. Often the people on his side end up just holding this position here, while Alpha gets flooded by the person at Graham's side. But Matrin using a chopper here very early on to take out a lot of the infantry and do a lot of damage to the infantry that Graham has brought in here. There is a Harrier coming in to take out that chopper now, and I'm sure it will succeed. But this is a very interesting start. I feel like Matrin is going to get into Alpha. He has an overwhelming force here. There is only 1 squad of troops left there, and it's already at half strength. Up here at the top, there are a couple of units here for Matrin. He has 2 Metis squads. Obviously, will be very good against those looks if they get a direct hit. Yep, there's one dead. Matsuchin at the top there. Realistically, I feel like Matrin has a decent hold here. It won't last if Graham can bring in enough, and he is certainly bringing in reinforcements at the top there. Both players with the commander at the back, but no other commands in currently. Another 24D coming in there for Matrin as well. Matrin with a very strong foothold here in this point, managing to take out the majority of Graham's forces already, and more forces coming in, including 2 T-55As. He's also bringing in a Strela, another Strela up here, obviously ready to deal with any more jets that come in, or choppers. There's a Jeopard at the back there. More reinforcements coming in the form of infantry for Graham to try and get back into Alpha. But already I would say that Matrin in quite a strong position here. I can imagine seeing Matrin bringing in another command sooner or later, though I would feel like that wouldn't be safe for Graham to do currently. Graham bringing in a couple of Leopard 1A1A1s there. Looks being brought in around the back there for Graham, probably to provide some fire support, but look at all of this. Lots of units were called in here, but are now moving forward. I think this was where they were called in originally, but obviously Matrin in a much more secure position towards the front of this town. If he could get up here, he'd be even better potentially, because it would be very difficult for Graham to get units into the point. Chopper being used to very good effect there against that looks as well. Bomber had come in here and has managed to kill some infantry, I believe. Yeah, you can see those bomb marks there. That's 1 squad of infantry taken out at the top. Another Harrier coming back in there. Would love to deal with that Mi-24, but obviously unsure from Graham's position how much anti-air there is. Just 1 Strela, but could be enough to do some serious damage to the Harrier. The Harrier unfortunately flies very slow, has a terrible turning circle. Would be very at risk from these 2 Strelas. Lots more reinforcements, and there we go, a command coming in. A T-55 command vehicle, in fact, a command tank. Not something we see very often, especially in tournament games. But that is coming in, I assume, for Charlie. Infantry pushing in here, and a Lux. Just 1 squad of infantry defending there, but there are more infantry up here at the back. That Matsuchin can certainly be moved to assist. Down here, that Harrier is coming in. I think it's making a run at that chopper. It's being engaged by a Shilka, and oh, and it is dead. Shilka and the Strela made short work of that. Chopper is badly damaged, but has survived the assault. Well, right now, we are almost 5 minutes into the game, but realistically, it does look as if Matrin is in a very good position. Secure position down here, and a reasonably secure position here He is needing to pull back those forces. They're getting badly damaged, but there are more forces arriving. These guys obviously having the satchel charges, very useful if they can get up close and personal to the enemy. You see that little inner circle there. That is the range on those satchel charges, so they really do have to be in the face of those other infantry, but they do also have 2 M60 machine guns, so they can do a lot of stun damage and suppression damage from range against these units in the buildings there. But lots more reinforcements coming in, including units in the SPW-70 there, which is also providing some fire support with machine guns. Down here at the bottom of the map, not a huge amount of movements. There are more and more units filtering in around the point for Graham, but I think he's going to have a real hard time getting back in there now. Another command is coming in for this point as well, currently +3 to Matrin, going to be +6 to Matrin very shortly. Cub coming in there to deal with any more jets that come in, though really we've only seen the one from Graham and it's already dead. Mortars coming in now as well to provide some fire support against the infantry that Matrin has in this point, but he's in a very secure position right now. I mean, to get in early in these points is obviously ideal, and having forward deployment troops makes it a much easier job. There's always been a few questions about this particular map and how easy it is for one side to overwhelm the other. Matrin doing a very good job at that here. Really, it was that early use of a chopper that made such a difference for him, managing to take out the infantry that were deposited by Graham in Alpha. And Matrin also holding up here with plenty of infantry. He's also got those munitions in the supply vehicles. He's got a packed anti-tank gun up there in defense now as well. He just seems in a really solid position. He can keep bringing in forces. He's got the 2 commands in. Really, we need to see a breakthrough from Graham into one of the points. And until he can break in, he can't really risk bringing in a command. We're seeing some movement here now. He is pushing these forces forward. He's smoked this area and is moving up a couple of squads of Jaeger. He is against a lot of infantry though. So 2 squads aren't going to be enough. He will need more than that in the grand scheme of things. Dropping some more smoke here so he can move more forces in. Napalm coming in here. He has lost the napalm jet. He did manage to drop the bombs, I think, though. Yes, they have dropped there. But the FS Jaeger pulling back out the way. Minimal damage. These guys caught on their own, though, now. Looks there, smoking itself. Another napalm jet coming in. He's at risk of losing that one as well. Could be an expensive strike. No, he's managed to get that one out alive, it looks like. Did that one actually drop? If it did, it dropped here again. Matrin managing to keep most of his forces alive. Just these Matsuchin here under heavy fire and surrounded. One of those squads is dead. The Shilka is firing on these guys. Shilka is taking fire itself, though. Luckily, it was a miss on that first shot. Mortar fire coming in now on all these infantry in the buildings and tanks being pushed up. Graham making a hard push to get into this point. Has pulled back forces here. Is no longer pushing into Charlie. +6 still to Matrin right now. 700 points in. We are almost 10 minutes into this game. But it is certainly looking like it's heavily in Matrin's favour. Graham really needs to get a secure hold on this point, or at least on half of it, so he can bring in a command. But Matrin in a very good position right now. Matrin also being quite aggressive at the top here. He's pushed his forces out to the edge of this point and is actually taking out Graham's units that are surrounding it. Obviously, intention there perhaps being to distract Graham from what's going on down here. One squad of Jaeger left there, still very healthy. Only 2 members of the squad lost. Tanks being brought in to provide fire support. T-55 in a good position there for Matrin, though. HE bomber coming in. There's less AA here now. The Shilka is dead, but the Strela is still engaging. There are a couple of jets in, though, which is a good call, because if you bring in multiple jets, it makes it difficult for the anti-air to know what to fire at. He did lose one of those jets, though, as it flew over this air defense zone. Another HE bomber coming in here, going for those Matsuchin. We'll probably get a nice hit on them. Did indeed, but didn't kill them. Jet did make it out alive, though. Graham pushing hard here. Has managed to get closer to the town. Has managed to take out some of Matrin's forces, but Matrin fighting hard. More units have already arrived for reinforcement. Just needs to get them out of those vehicles. He's also using his HE bomber still to take out those infantry. Another FS Jaeger coming in there as well. Just having a look, see if any other units are coming in. There are more units coming in here. Some more Marders and Panzer Grenadiers. Expensive units to bring in. Lots of Panzer Grenadiers and stuff here as well. And the Marder 1A3s. Command is in that top corner now. Just +3 to Matrin. But look at all of this. That is so dead. Look at all of these forces pushing up to kill it. It has smoked. I'm not sure that's going to be enough. Leo 101 coming in from the side there, though. Smoke coming down from the Tampella mortars as well. Very good choice. Try and keep that as protected as possible. I can imagine a bomber coming in to deal with that shortly, though, from Matrin. But Matrin right now way out ahead. It'll be very difficult, I think, for poor Graham to pull this back. There would have to be a significant shift in forces at the top of the map. Matrin still holding on hard to this point, but Graham has managed to secure a foothold in this side of the town. Still pushing and more forces arriving now. Good use of those mortars as well. A couple of tanks sat at the back here for Matrin. Obviously not the best things to have in the town. I suppose he could consider bringing them around the back here through the middle. Obviously he doesn't know there's nothing there. We do. We can see everything. HE bomber coming in there. Cub engaging it. Strela engaging it. It's taking fire, but I think it's going to get out alive. Mi-24D in again. Dishing out the damage against those infantry. Super effective. Managed to finish off 2 squads there. Still has rounds left. Is engaging on the Marders as well now. Desperate attempt to kill that command that's in the corner there. Surprised we haven't seen any artillery or anything from Matrin. I don't suppose he really needs it, but we do see... Ah, there you go. Akitasia coming in there. Another jet going down there. I think it was another one killing a chopper. It has managed to kill the chopper by the looks of it. Obviously that Mi-24 causing lots of issues for Graham, so he was desperate to get it killed. Unfortunately did lose another jet in the process. Jet coming in from Matrin there. I wondered if he was going to use it to... Oh, the command is dead. He has called in another commander, but it's back to +6 for Matrin. Matrin going to win this game very shortly at this rate. Really hard fought by Graham, though. Cannot fault that push at all at the bottom here. Has managed to get into the point, but Matrin just kept reinforcing, and reinforcing some more. Great use of bombers by both players. Both players managing to kill some infantry squads. But the use of the choppers by Matrin really pulled him ahead in this game. No need for any chopper spam here, folks. One chopper dishing out the damage. That was all that was required. Plenty of reinforcements still coming in down here for Matrin. He is very close to that win now. The odd reinforcement going up to the top there, but honestly, obviously, Graham isn't bringing much in up there. He is bringing in a command there that I see, but I mean, it's not going to get into that point. It could be that it's going to try and go down to the bottom here. No, there's already one coming down to the bottom. I mean, that's just going to die if it gets anywhere near that point. And there's the game. Commiserations to Graham in that first game. Matrin, well done, very well played, really good play with those choppers throughout the game there. And Graham, really good play getting back into that point. I honestly thought you wouldn't even get back in the way that Matrin had those forces set up, but you did a really good job, especially utilizing those mortars effectively. Let's have a quick look at the kills and losses. Obviously a significant difference, about double for Matrin there, which isn't surprising. He was in a very strong defensive position. In terms of units though, that Mi-24, look at all the kills it got. I mean, that says it all really, doesn't it? FS Jaeger doing a great job as well. And down the bottom here, Lux doing a really good job. We've seen those do really good in previous tournaments as well. They just dish out the damage so effectively. Obviously mainly killing transports, but you know, that's a 20-point transport that's going to get sold. So, you know, what, he's killed 4 or 5 of those. That's instantly 100 points back that now your opponent isn't getting back to spend on more units. Jaeger doing a great job at that side, and the Leopard didn't do badly either. Let's get straight into the next game, as these are both reasonably short and we can do them back to back. Welcome back to our second game. This time they have switched sides, so Matrin is in blue on the left and on right is Graham in red. Matrin this time playing as the 7th Panzer Division, and Graham has switched to the 4th Motsuchin Division. Obviously Graham in a good position already with a lot of forward deployment troops here rushing towards those central points. A lot here heading towards Alpha. Obviously Matrin not in the same position as last game, where obviously Graham was on that side but had forward deployment. Matrin is relying on getting recon there early. But obviously in this position, Graham has the advantage. He has those forward deployment troops which are going to reach that town before Matrin does. Matrin sending a few forces to the top as well, but Graham already in there with plenty of SPG-9s to deal with any early vehicles. And look at this, obviously Graham in a much stronger position here straight away, already in the buildings because Matrin just didn't have those forward deployment troops. 4th MSD, a very strong division in my mind. I'm sure some of the pros would agree. They're quite a fun division to play. They have a lot of flexibility. Plenty of tanks coming in here for Matrin. He's gone tank heavy coming into this point. Loads of T-72s, loads of flame tanks as well. This will be quite interesting. Obviously, maneuvering them through a town is very risky, but flame tanks equally very effective at burning down infantry. Loads of infantry arriving as a reinforcement for Matrin. He does have some flame troops here as well. HE bombers coming in though for Graham very early, doing plenty of damage to the front lines there. Obviously almost killing at least one of those squads, doing some serious damage to the other. Has forced Graham to pull his forces back with these early units getting there. But realistically, he's just taken a lot of damage from those bombers. Graham still in a reasonable position. Has lost a unit there though. Graham, lots more units coming in, including some T-55As there. I'm sure there will be a lot more coming in. There is some supply coming in as well. Up at the top, we're not seeing a lot coming in realistically from Matrin. He's going to build up a defensive wall probably around that point rather than try and push into it. And he's going to try and secure Alpha at the moment by the looks of it. A couple of Cubs coming in there for Matrin as well to stave off any more of those bomber attacks. Really good positioning down the road here. Is managing to kill any vehicles that are coming in down the road. But lots of fire coming in from outside the town against Matrin's units here. But equally, look at all of that. Flamethrower tanks hitting that building. Loads of damage being done to those FS Jaeger from Graham. Tanks can be a massively powerful and overwhelming force when used correctly. HE bomber coming in now again for Graham. Really effective use of those bombers early on for Graham this game, managing to clear out the center of this town. Obviously losses on both sides in this town, but realistically I think Graham has probably come out on top. Loads of tanks here for Matrin. I'm not sure what the plan is with them at the moment. Obviously sending them into a town very, very risky. Up here at the top, not a lot of movement at all. Neither player with a lot of forces up there, but there is a command coming in for Graham now to secure that point and start ticking it up. Loads of reinforcements being called in down here for Graham. And a reasonable amount of reinforcement being called into Alpha for Matrin as well, including a command tank. He does like his command tanks, it seems. Obviously, a little bit more secure since they're harder to kill. But, you know, a decent strike from a cluster bomber, and it's still going to die in one. Right now, obviously, Graham with the control of the town and the control of most of the point. Matrin with a few tanks up here, very susceptible to being shot in the side by the infantry in the town, of course. So many reinforcements flooding in, obviously, from the 4th Matcherino Division. Very cheap infantry. Smoke coming down here. Appears to be smoke from the side of Graham, interestingly. I assume to stop his tanks firing at the town while he maneuvers his infantry closer to the tanks. Oh! Lovely striking shot down that road there in the town. Again, you know, taking out these vehicles, it has its advantages. T-55A here being engaged by the other T-55s. T-55A recently had a buff, making it a lot stronger than it originally was. ATGM there, firing at the T-72s. T-55As. More T-55As coming in. I mean, they're so good right now. One dead there, though. They're super cheap. Obviously, a lot cheaper than the T-72s. T-72s coming in at a price of 100. Those T-55s cost 45 points each. Significant price difference. Matrin managing to squeeze into the top part of this town, getting a BMP-1 a little bit too close for comfort, and he is instantly killed. Matsuchin, however, doing the work, but a little bit outnumbered, I'm afraid, here. They do have the satchel charges, but they're just not close enough to do a lot of damage. Tank-on-tank battle going on down here at this side of the point. Obviously, the intention is that Matrin wants to stop reinforcements getting into the point from this side so that he can bring in his own reinforcements and maintain a secure hold of the point. Graham now in control of the top with his command, and equally Matrin in control of the bottom. Wondering if Graham is going to bring in a command for the bottom there, actually. I haven't seen one as yet. He is in control of this side, so he could take it. Heading towards 7 minutes into this game right now. There's been a lot of losses on both sides at the front here. Both players losing T-55s, though flame tanks in the case of Matrin. T-72 loss as well there. The ATGM's got it in the side. A little bit of a push perhaps going on at the top here. A flame tank moving in along with some Matsuchin. Matrin trying to keep the pressure up on both points at the same time. It's not a bad idea. Now, isn't that interesting? Obviously, Matrin intending to swing around the top here and put pressure on this side of Graham's forces. Now we see at the other side Graham swinging around the bottom there, perhaps trying to put pressure on the forces from Matrin coming in from that side. Loads more T-55s coming in there. This could potentially be quite an effective push at the top here. The SPG-9 is actually out of firepower. It's out of ammo. So really, the SPG-9 is going to be up against these infantry on its own. There is a Matsuchin there, but I just don't think it's going to do enough damage to kill all of these units. This SPG-9 moved up to try and fire across. Will do a little bit of damage. HE bomber coming in. Very effective. Oh, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, Graham. Beautiful strikes from those HE bombers. Took out both those infantry squads coming in. Perfect defense of that point. Very little anti-air up there other than a Strela manpad squad or two in that building. Down here, the battle continues for control of this town. Obviously, a good amount of forces up here for Matrin, but really just holding that area. Looks like Graham is moving across this point. Fire support from the other side from those tanks managing to fire across the buildings and down the roads. Very good positioning from Graham there for those tanks. Managing to provide fire support from quite a distance. Lots of smoke going down here to stop any tanks firing across, I believe. More reinforcements coming in from Matcherino to try and secure that town again. But this is a bitter, bitter battle for this town. And it's often what we see on this map is a very difficult battle for this town throughout the game. Though both games we've seen today showcasing how powerful forward deployment can be on these types of maps where you are just vying for control of a couple of central points. Forces pushing in from Matrin around this side now. Obviously not a huge amount here from Graham and quite spread out. So not going to pose too much of a threat to Matrin's forces there. More reinforcements coming in this side. And there we go. A command vehicle from Graham. That's what I was waiting for. That will neutralize this point. As much as Graham is desperately trying to kill that command tank, I think. But neutralization of that point will mean a +3 for Graham. HE bombers coming in once more for Graham, taking out the units at the edge of this town by the looks of it. Lovely strike, doing plenty of damage. One squad dead down here. Plenty of damage to this area up here. Didn't really catch those infantry though, which are going to cause lots of problems for Graham, especially against these tanks if they get close enough. But they are taking a lot of fire from these tanks, being pinned down. That one's stunned. This one taking a lot of fire now as well. Mortars dropping on these units up here. Graham has a staunch defense of this town right now. Artillery piece in for Matrin though. And a bomber in as well, taking out a squad of infantry there. Bomber taking a lot of fire. That's going to be out of the game repairing for a long time. Anti-air jet was in but has left the map already. You can just see bits of a plane falling through the bottom of the map there. That's an interesting graphical glitch. Very little movement up here for the entire game. Graham not really bringing in any more reinforcements. And obviously Matrin trying to get in there. And I think he would have been successful. But very nice bomber strike from Graham on that point, as we saw. I just see a tide of red in this point now. I feel like it's going to be harder and harder for Matrin to push back in here. I think he also, yes, he has lost that command tank. It must have been killed. +6 currently to Graham. Ideally, Matrin does need to get another command in, but there's so many units in there now. They're so close to the edge of the point. I really don't think there's anywhere safe for Matrin to bring in a command. Another HE bomber coming in there. Striking at those units coming in the map. Immediately taking fire from the ground defences. And it is dead. There's a lot of AA here now. And obviously the MiG-29 at the back there as well. A couple of artillery pieces coming in for Graham as well now. Just over 27 minutes left to go in this game. Points racking up rapidly now for Graham as well. I'm really struggling to see Matrin being able to get back in this point as Graham just floods it with more and more units. And as we all know, getting into a good defensive position in this game is extremely beneficial. It is very hard to dislodge someone who is solidified in a town. Just having a little look around, but recon coming in at the top there. A couple of squads. I wonder if Matrin is going to try again to get in that top point. And my 24p anti-tank chopper coming in the bottom there. Another T-55. Still the odd unit coming in at the bottom for Matrin as well. He has dropped off some infantry here. These ones unfortunately stunned as they've come in. The ones up there stunned as well. There's so much fire coming out. Plenty of fire going in towards these troops as well, but it still remains the case that Graham just has so many units in that town now. Very nice strike against that tank as well. Graham using Matrin's own tactic against him here, bringing in a chopper with rockets and such to take out the infantry, and obviously long-range ATGMs to take out the tanks. MiG-23 coming in there. I think that was going to try and go for this chopper, but has veered off at the last minute. Is badly damaged as well. Over halfway to the victory points now for Graham in this match. We could be seeing a 1-1 draw in this round. We are right now in the group stages for the tournament. There are 4 players in each group. Each player will play against each of the other opponents in that particular group. And then the winners of the group stage will go on to the next stage of the tournament. Bit like the whole Football World Cup situation. A huge cluster of blue in the middle there, but it's not really moving at the moment. And the build-up of red is just getting bigger and bigger at the bottom here. Just over 24 minutes left in this match. But I honestly think that Matrin is in a very difficult position now. His best bet may be to try and push the top, but obviously Graham probably still has bombers available to him. I mean, there's a lot less here, but he's calling in reinforcements. As soon as the artillery started, he's called in more reinforcements for that top point. And my 24p getting a little bit overzealous there, moving very far forward, will soon be under fire by the machine guns of all of these vehicles and infantry. Machine guns reasonably effective against helicopters. Will manage to stun that tank though. ATGM launched at it as well. Oh, beautiful kill. No anti-air there from Matrin's side to take out that chopper either, unfortunately for him. Only AA is up here. I mean, at the moment, I feel like we're just going through the motions. This game is surely Graham's now. There just aren't enough blue forces left on the map to do a major assault on this bottom point. Potentially a small assault on the top point here. There are reinforcements heading there. And obviously, in the back of my mind, I'm just thinking those bombers are going to come in and destroy anything that gets near Charlie at the top. More units being called in by Matrin there. If he's going to make a move on that point, he needs to do it soon. That +6 is ticking up and up and up very rapidly, and he only needs to make the 2,000 point mark to win the game. A little bit of a move up here now from Matrin. And here they are. Oh no, that's anti-air choppers. Sorry, anti-air jets coming in. Lots of anti-air jets in, actually. HE bomber coming in and attacking at the bottom there. I was expecting a fleet of bombers to come in and attack these units moving at the top here. Surely they are visible now. Loss of an AA jet there. But the win is there. Congratulations for Graham for the second game there. Again, jump ahead in kills for the defending player, really. Not surprising. Well done to both players. Good effort at the end there, Matrin. If you'd just been a bit earlier on that push, you may well have got into Charlie. There wasn't a huge amount in there, and I didn't see the bomber spam coming out from Graham either, so it's possible that you just shot enough of them down. Let's have a look at the kills and losses. Matcherino did a great job. T55A doing a great job there. T72 doing a reasonable job at the other side. SPG9 doing an amazing job. FS Jägermetis. Oh, the FS Sprengtrasher doing a great job as well. Matcherino doing a great job. Two very interesting and somewhat different games on this map from those two players there. Not often we see the player on the right managing to get into alpha so strongly at the start. Those forward deployment troops from both players in each game making a huge difference. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please do like, share, subscribe. Do check out the link below to Matcherino. Everyone can contribute for free to the prize pool for this tournament. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all soon.